What is going on, my YouTube fam? It's your boy, Mr. Random, back at you guys with another YouTuber versus YouTuber challenge. And today we're going to kind of take a little backseat. We're going to take it back a little bit, and we're going to feature some up-and-coming YouTubers, and that is going to be Gingium versus AR12 Gaming. Let's get right into it. Now, first off, we're going to start off with Gigiums Molly, aka the 1994 Mazda Miata MX5. Now, if you guys can see, I try pretty much replicating this thing to the T as much as possible when it comes to the color, when it comes to the rims, when it comes to the camber of the rims, when it comes to the tire width, when it comes to the roll cage that he just recently installed, to that giant big ass front diffuser, front lip that he installed as well. You guys can see, besides maybe a couple decals here and there, this thing is pretty much his Miata, pound for pound. Now, one thing we're going to take into consideration here is that both of these cars in real life are stock till this day, so that's going to make this really interesting and really easy to do. His Miata comes in at 128 horsepower, weighing in just 2,330 pounds. Now, when we make our way to AR12 Gaming's 2008 R32 Volkswagen Golf. Now, this thing, we're going to take a couple things into consideration. Number one is he does have a 2008 Volkswagen Golf R32. In Forza 6, we only have the 2010 model. However, the only difference really is cosmetic, is the exterior, maybe a couple bumpers here and there. Now, the internals are still the same, stock for stock, pound for pound. We got 267 horsepower, weighing in at 3,188 pounds. His car in real life is pretty much stock, besides the rims, so I did try to replicate them as much as possible. Now, take one thing into consideration: just because one does good in the drag race doesn't mean it's going to do good when it comes to the track. Remember, guys, the answer is always Miata. Let's get right into it. Let's see who's going to do good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, take your bets right now. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be the Miata, or is it going to be the Golf? If you pick a very specific car, and I feel sorry for you, because this is going to be a very one-sided race. As you can see right there, the Golf taking a massive lead over the completely underpowered Mazda Miata. Come on, man, who didn't see that coming? But now the Miata has been known to have amazing go-kart-like handling. And will that be enough to let it win in the track? Let's go find out. Rolling up into the line, it's going to be the Mazda Miata, the go-to car for every person and their grandmother. If you personally ask me, I think this is one of the most overrated little cars to ever exist, to ever get popular in recent times. They're underpowered. They are not one of the safest things in the world. Everybody has them. It's not original. It's not unique. To be honest with you, I'm just speaking my mind, man. It's slow as hell. You know, they are cheap to boost, and they are very affordable to get. But besides that, I think everybody has a Miata. Everybody keeps doing Miata projects, man. I wish people would actually try something different and step out of the box, you know, get out of the box, you know. Anyways, let's get into the game. As you can see, it's going to the straightaway. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that I have barely used the brake while doing this run with a Miata. You guys can probably count with one hand the amount of times that I actually use the brake. That's how good it handles. But one of the reasons that it handles so good is because it is incredibly slow. This is probably going to be one of the slowest times I ever hit on this track. As we make our way to the halfway point, as we sluggishly, snailishly, turtlishly make our way to the halfway point, aka the Tunnel of Love, this thing is super duper trooper slow as hell, man. It's a nice little car. It really does have go-kart like handling, like they say. One of the reasons of that is because it's incredibly small, it's incredibly lightweight, and it's incredibly underpowered, so you can pretty much do anything in this car. So you notice there's not much understeer, not much oversteer, very well composed into the corners. You can see it's almost maxed out all the way on the throttle, and I mean, that's just probably as fast as it goes, maybe just a couple more miles in 5th gear. As we slowly approach the twisties, and we try out that suspension, and of course it's going to do really good because it's going pretty damn slow. And look at it take those corners at 100 miles an hour. Really good handling. It's a very, very light little car. It really does feel like you're driving a little RC car or a go-kart. As we make our way to the finish line, would it set at a good enough time that the R32 won't be able to be? Will the R32 be able to sling around the track like this Miata did? Let's find out. 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Pulling up to the line, we have the Volkswagen R Golf, or Volkswagen Golf R, whichever way you want to say it. This is one of those kind of underrated little hatchbacks, you know, with all the Lancer Evos and the Imprezas and the Ford Focus RS. This thing kind of takes a back burner angle when it comes to popularity. Not many people own these. It depends on reliability. I've actually spoken to a couple people who say that they're really reliable. Other people had electrical problems. Either way, it does handle pretty darn good. It does compose itself really good. It is very, actually does have a decent amount of horsepower, and it is actually fairly light, so it does handle the corners a lot better than the Miata actually. And with that steering and that suspension, that sporty suspension, it definitely can take the corners a lot faster as we max it out. Look at that, 147 miles an hour. With the Miata, we were already pretty much maxed out right there. As we make our way to the halfway point here. Not a bad looking car either, man. This thing looks actually really sweet. I'm not a big fan of this car either. Actually, to be honest with you guys, I'm not a big fan of European cars at all. I'm a big American muscle guy, or even some JDM. But even still, I don't like the mainstream stuff. I don't like the overused stuff, the overhyped stuff. I like the underground stuff, man. I like the things that not everybody has. Everybody's doing a Miata, you know? Excuse me. Pulling off Hillary Clinton here, man. I'm about to die. Jesus. Little Golf is handling itself really good. You know what? I also don't like the kind of people that drive the Golf. I don't like their personalities. They're a bit stuck up at times. Not all of them. I don't want to generalize people, but for the most part, as we take the twisties here, doing really damn good, barely hitting the brakes. Car does handle really good. It does compose itself really good, and it obviously is going to destroy the 2 minutes and 25 seconds set by the Miata. As we approach the finish line, we got AR12's Volkswagen R, winner of the challenge. No shit, Sherlock.